Okay, welcome to Stone Soup Poetry, everyone. We got a packed house tonight. I have to actually use the left and right arrow to make sure I see everybody. This is fantastic news and a fantastic sign. We're in for a great feature, which is starting first tonight. They're doing things a little bit differently. If there's any friends of the feature or any newcomers in general to Stone Soup who want to read on the open mic, please put your names down in the chat and we can put you in accordingly. Our feature tonight, and I'm just going to get to the point, is Denise Washington, someone who featured way back during the anthology reading party for Extra Mojo, hosted by Minion Ariel King, and hosted a great number of people that night. And incidentally, I think Hidden Charmed is putting out one more Mojo anthology through Hidden Charm Press after so long. And that's exclusively an anthology for Black women writers. So this is a great accomplishment for Minion, who's been going through a lot and just found a new place. And she is trying to get that out by the end of the year, as well as a new Telltale Inkling. So best of luck to her.
That's awesome.
But on to the feature, a little bit of background information for those of you who don't remember her way back when. Denise Washington was born and raised in Roxbury, Massachusetts. She was a Metco student who graduated from Lincoln Sudbury Regional High School and received her Bachelor of Science degree in television production, creative writing from Emerson College. And she also earned her Master of Science degree in early childhood education from Wheelock, which is where I actually met her through my girlfriend. Both Denise and my girlfriend are teaching in the Boston school systems now. For quite some time, she lived in North Hollywood and worked as the assistant to the producer for the WB sitcom The Wayans Brothers Show. And as a production coordinator, worked her way up to a team writer for the HBO sitcom Arliss. She is an Elma Lewis School of Fine Arts alumni, a voice student of the late John Andrew Ross, and Ed Buelens is her playwright mentor. Currently, she is an educator in the Boston school system. I just said that. Oh, well, boilerplate. Nurturing souls on a daily basis. She also enjoys teaching meditation, yoga, and Zumba to the children, their families, and school staff. She is the founder, CEO, and producer of Pop-Up Poetry Series. That comes with a hashtag. Pop-Up Poetry. With Pop-Up Poetry, Denise plays Denise Plays Heart event. It comes to a neighborhood near you. The concept was birthed with her second grade class students at the Mather Elementary School. On April 22nd, 2018, to commemorate National Poetry Month, her first pop-up poetry series was in a garden. Her students, their family, and people from the community came. Haywood Fannell was the guest poet, and a host of students, their family members, friends, and poets from the community dropped a verse and a rhyme. Since 2018 in April, poetry has been popping up across the city, most recently this month in Boston and beyond. Denise has met many talented people along the way. Some of them are on the call tonight, I'm sure. And if she wants to explain more about pop-up poetry, and the next time it's happening, I predict sometime in October, I hope to be part of it this time, to actually witness it. It's been hard for me to make it, but hopefully more people will be interested in being part of this. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, it's time for the host to do the only thing I do well when the time comes, when my arm gets twisted, and that's shut up, and ask you to put your hands together or have your emojis going 30, 40 times for Denise.
Wow. Well, thank you, Chad, for inviting me. Thank you, Stone Soup. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for coming, to all my family and friends, and now my new friends, the ones I don't know. I've been doing pop-up poetry. Will have here next year. It goes from September to September. However, all the libraries have asked me to pop up. So leading up to the 5th year, I'll be popping up at various libraries in the city of Boston. So maybe you can come and see me there. Yay. It's a lot of fun. We have loads and loads of community folks and all walks of life coming to express themselves. So I guess I will get started. I want to say I'm going to start by honoring Gwendolyn Brooks because I met her as I was a sophomore at Emerson College. We had lunch. I got to pick her brain. She said, "Oh, do you have any poetry? I'll take it home with me. I'll take a look at it and I'll send it back with comments." So I said, "Sure." And so I don't know if you can see this picture, but this is me and her at Emerson College. before we had lunch. So I'm going to read a poem by her first to honor Miss Gwendolyn Brooks, who, by the way, is an American poet, author, and she was a teacher too. Her work often dealt with personal celebrations and struggle of community people. Sort of like me. She won the Poets Prize for Poetry on May 1st, 1950 for Annie Allen, making her the first African-American to receive that prize. Maybe I'll win that one day, who knows? Anyway, I would like to read We Real Cool. We real cool. We left school. We lurk late. We strike straight. We sing sin. We then gin. We jazz jam. We die soon. That's the late, great Gwendolyn Brooks. And now, Chad, if you could kindly play Enslaved African. I just would like to say, Enslaved African, I wrote at Emerson College. However, last year, with the Juneteenth Committee and the Afro-American Museum, National Center of Afro-American Museum, they have a Juneteenth celebration every year. However, due to the pandemic, it was virtual. So they asked for us to present a video of our expression. So this is my video of Enslaved African. So let's see if it will play.
Taking care of it right now.
Thank you. I don't know if the sound.
Working on it.
Chad, you have to share your computer sound.
Oh. So maybe if we can start that over and share the computer sound.
If you go into the share screen menus, I believe that is where computer sound is shared.
You can't just turn it up from your computer, huh? Little technical difficulty. Can Chad hear us? Oh, okay, thanks. If not, I can just read it.
You have to back out and start it again, but hit share sound before you do it.
Oh, sorry about that. Let me, duh. Okay, I am back into doing this. Okay, here we go. I'm embarrassed. Okay, I forgot that one little thing. Okay, this should be working now.
Don't be embarrassed.
No. mover. I can't stay. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Enslaved African. And so now I would like to recite a poem for my mother. It's called Revelation. Mummy dropped the good old pressing curl for some silky African locks. No more appointment with that hot comb, bumper curler or grease. She's traded all that in for a peppermint shampoo, herbal conditioner, and some peace. Branches of her locks coil with strength. Mommy dropped the good old pressing curl for some African silky locks. She wears them well. How's everyone doing today? Good, awesome. Okay, so because I am a teacher and it's September, I would like to read a few poems for my students and also for my nieces and nephews. It's called For Rayquan, Chase, Maya Winter, Zoe, Anthony, KJ, Miles, Maddox, and baby Kamira. Rise and rain, my son. It's time to go to school. Ride the yellow school bus. Get off and run into the classroom, where there's so many things for you to do. Sing, paint, climb and glue, ask questions, jump, and eat lunch too. With your friends. Dress up, build blocks, count and read, write your alphabet, play with dinosaurs, create a picture for me. Feed the fish, help the teacher, plant a seed to grow. Observe, explore, wonder, and discover. There's a lot to learn and for you to know. So I also wrote this poem a long time ago for my nephew Kyle, and he was 4 at the time. And I believe he's like 17 now. One summer, because teachers are off, I had the opportunity and the pleasure to take care of him during the summer. And we went to all these different playgrounds all over the city of Boston, but he liked this one in particular, because afterwards I said, which one do you like the best? And so I wrote a poem about it. It's called In the Heart of Roxbury, Kyle Smiles. Sprinklers, swings, slides, and monkey bars. Garden flowers, wood chips, in a sandbox. Picnic tables, park benches with parents watching. Tall, tall trees with leaves that say hello. Big boys scooting, big girls bouncing, basketballs bouncing, babies laughing, toddlers running, big girls jumping. apple green grass, happy faces, and concrete cement paths. In the heartbeat of Roxbury, Kyle smiles. And the playground that we're talking about is the Trotter Playground on Humboldt Ave. And actually, this poem was selected a long time ago as part of the City of Boston poets. And Mayor Menino had it posted right outside his door until he left office. Yes, he did. I have it over there now. It's framed in my study. But yeah, so it hung right outside his office until he passed away. So it's a really special poem to me, to Kyle, and to the City of Boston. And so let's see. I think it's time for me to ask, are you loving yourself? Love, 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 love. Love knows, love shows, love flows, love sows, love glows, love slows. Love frees those. Love says no. Love wills, even though. So, love, yo. Chad, can we play Are You Loving Yourself now? So again, because of the pandemic, I was asked to recite a poem, but we had to put it on video. And it was played at this wonderful Black Biz Ball. So I want to share it with you now. It's called, Are You Loving Yourself? It's a question that I had for myself while we were locked down. And so I just want to share it with others.
Are you loving yourself? Are you paying attention to your breath? Come on, let's take a breath in together. Now breathe out. Are you intentionally breathing in all that is good for you and intentionally breathing out all that doesn't serve you? Come on, let's take another breath in together. Now breathe out. What are you choosing to release? Is it fear, doubt, depression, low self-esteem, or grief? What are you giving? What are you receiving? Please, 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 please take some time to love yourself and breathe. Come on, let's take another breath in. Now, let's breathe out.
The sunflowers in Roxbury. Despite the cold, the rain, the wind, the storm, the fog, the harassment, the abuse, the assaults, the red lines, disparities, inequalities, scars, wounds, silence, shh. She, he, we, me. The sunflowers of Roxbury still stand with beauty, radiance, resilience, with their face to the sky and the sun. Now, I wrote that for Equa Holmes. I'm not sure if you know her. She is a national artist, and right now she has an exhibit at the MFA. Has anyone went to go see it? It's a wonderful exhibit. And outside the museum right now, there are beautiful sunflowers. So I wrote that poem. She asked me to write a poem 4 years ago when she launched her, I think it's called The Sunflowers of Roxbury. Yeah, she launched The Sunflowers of Roxbury, where she was giving people in the community seeds to grow. And so in August, everyone who planted those seeds, we had wonderful, wonderful sunflowers. So that was 4 years ago, just like it's the same age as pop-up poetry. So yeah, she asked me to write a poem because she had a festival. And so that's the poem. And so I'm not sure if you saw the sunflowers in front of the MFA, but there are lots of sunflowers across the city of Boston because of Equa. giving out seeds. And she starts in April and she's still giving them out. So the sunflowers of Roxbury. And let me see, I'm sorry. So again, you know, we were locked down, locked up. This pandemic like had me like writing a lot and experiencing with virtual poetry, virtual writing. However, I was so shocked when I couldn't dance anymore. My dance class had been canceled. So I had to write a poem about it. And it's called, I just had it, I'm sorry. Where did it go? Oh, goodness. One second. Where did I put it? I had to write a poem about it because I didn't know what I was going to do. Thankfully, he decided to teach the class on Zoom, but it's not the same taking dance classes on Zoom, you know, but at least we got to move. And why can I find this poem? I just had it. Well, while I find that poem, I'm gonna read another poem for my mother. It's called She Be. She be the wind that blows. And in the summer breeze, you hear and you know that Isley brother tune. She be an uncaged bird that sings a sweet melody. I love you more. She be my mother. A tree trunk with a tree with a trunk as her body, rolled with righteousness. Branches are her locks, coil with strength, making wind in the ear. Her feet are firmly rooted in a down-to-earth cause, covertly placed for discovery. The fresh fruit that bloom are her 8 children. She be a tree planted by the river. All right, so I'm not sure how long I'm supposed to go. I'm still. Oh. Yes. Oh, here it is. So like I said, when we were locked down and we could not get out, I wrote a poem and it was called, What is a Girl to Do Now That Jean Apollone's Dance Class is Canceled? Write a poem. Turning heads. My rah-rah hips and spirit-filled lips turn your head my way. You listened to the song in my twist, felt the rhythm in my pelvis, and watched me keep the compass drum with my feet. I glanced back at you, smiling rah at me. Sketches of Denise. One breath at a time, one poem at a time, one prose at a time, one fresh juice at a time, one prayer at a time, one bus trip at a time, one dance at a time, one play at a time, one book at a time, one concerto at a time, one step at a time, one lesson at a time, one seed at a time, one class at a time, one love at a time, one protest at a time, one tree at a time, one day at a time, at a time, at a time, at a time. Strike a pose with me, walk with me, eat green leafy veggies with me, fresh sweet juice with me, drink hot ginger tea with me, take some time for yourself with me. Call a family member, stick a Post-it stamp on it, and send a letter to a friend with me. Write a to-do list with me. Dream a poem, a prose, a screenplay with me. Garden with me. Plant your feet, dance with me. Embrace the sun, laugh with me. Water the dirt, cry with me. Say a prayer with me. Can't find something. With me, with me, with me. And how about I'll read a poem. It's called Shahid. It's a love poem. I caught your espresso skin, deep, deep, deep dimples, 3 strands of gray on your chin, bedroom lips and eyes that made me want to apologize. Loving you, loving me from afar. May he rest in peace. Since I did a poem, 2 poems for my mother, of course I have to do a poem for my father. And it happens to be an acrostic poem. And it's called Daddy. Daddy, the dazzling Titan and Army vet. Always taking pictures, making movies, dedicated to supporting and providing for the family, determined to be a positive role model and a great example of who should fill my manly shoes when I say I do. You are so special to me, Daddy. And I have a haiku. It's called Between Tribes. Your high vibration floated in the sky, reaches me and creates sparkles. Your high vibrations float in the sky, reaches me and creates sparkles. And my last poem is Barbados. If I can find it, it's right here. Oh my goodness. Somehow my papers got out of order here. So if, 1 second. So I have a love for Barbados, and my mother had a love for Barbados. She had lots of friends that went to Barbados. Okay, where's the? Sorry, 1 second. I have it. I should have stapled these pages. Okay. I have everything in order here. Nope. Find it. All right. While I will Barbados. Okay. Thank you for being so patient here. Oh, man. All right, well, okay, I'm gonna end with another poem because it's right here. Yes. A Perfect Kiss. Denzel and Denise sitting in a tall bow wow tree, Kissing. Denzel kisses me. Wet and loud kisses, sweet and salty kisses, makes me feel free kisses. Black and love kisses, Black unity kisses, makes me shout Black power kisses. Black family kisses, Black liberation kisses, makes my heart praise dance kisses. Denzel and Denise kisses me. Red, Black, and green kisses. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Denise.
I should
Denise.
have stapled my papers together.
Oh, I think someone has a
Denise.
question.
Oh, you have a question? Oh, sure. Hi.
May I ask a favor? Could you read the poem that Mayor Menino had hung by his office for us again, please?
Oh, sure. Okay, just
Yeah, I
bear
know
with me
it's
for
so
1 second.
Oh, sure.
To get my papers are all out of order here. Sorry. Kyle smiles. Yes.
You should staple them together.
I forgot. I just thought I was gonna flip and turn real easy, but this was not an easy task whatsoever. Okay, I have it. I thought this would be like smooth sailing, like putting everything all on one page. But you're right. We
Yeah.
learn from experience, right? Okay, so here we go again. Kyle smiles in the heart of Roxbury. Sprinklers swing, slides, and monkey bars, garden flowers, wood chips, and a sandbox. Picnic tables, park benches with parents watching, tall, tall trees with leaves waving, hello. Big boys scooting, basketballs bouncing, babies laughing, and toddlers running. Big girls jumping, apple green grass, happy faces, and concrete cement paths. In the heart of Roxbury, Kyle smiles at the trot
Thank
of the ground on Humble Ave in Roxbury.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Put your hands together virtually or audibly, however you prefer, for Denise Washington. Denise, is there a PayPal or a Venmo that if anyone wanted to donate for you for tonight's performance, you would like to share with us?
It's just Cash App, Papa Poetry. If you want to. I also sell Papa Poetry t-shirts. That's how I sustain Papa Poetry.
Oh, send us a link to put a link in the t-shirts in the chat, and we'll share that tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And now,
I want to thank everyone for coming out. Thank you to my family and friends, my big brothers here, Nay's girls, and Angela and Nay, and oh, my nieces are here, Tia and Tina, and so many others, Lauren. Thank you, Nellie, Sister Paula, and Sister Andrea. I just want to say thank you for supporting me. Chad, thank you for inviting me. Stone Soup, thank you.
Thank you, Denise, and can't wait to hear more, and can't wait to hear that when that book comes up. You need a get a Pulitzer. I think Pulitzer. You need a book, so we'll be looking forward to that. And when you get that done, we'll definitely feature it for you.
All right. Thank you.
So thank you again one more time, and again put up the link to the pop-up poetry T-shirts, and hopefully
Cash App, pop-up poetry.
Cash App is also pop-up poetry. Okay, excellent. And we'll do the T-shirt link, and we'll go from there.
Awesome.
Well, thank you again. And for those of you, we usually do the open mic first, but we decided to do the feature first, and we do have an open mic to follow. So if there's anyone who is friends with Denise that friends of Denise, any first timers that want to contribute, just let me know in the chat, please. And we do have a number of poets who are raring to go, and we're going to start. I do this random select. It's going to be tough to follow the feature, but I know we got some brave poets on the list. Let's welcome up first, Miss Mary Jennings.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm going to read a few Syncquenes. In case anybody new here doesn't understand what a Syncquene is, it's a short form of poem, kind of like a haiku, except it's 5 lines with a 2/4. Well, I employ the 2/4-6/8-2 meter. So I'm going to read 3 Syncquenes on the nature of of creating, recognition and jealousy, and all sorts of other expectations. Gaining recognition out from under radar, experts will be tossing brickbats. Upstart. Talent will get you in. Jealousy will question why you exist in the first place. Huffy. Get rid of appeasement. I'm going to create. Your cheers not worth my debasement. Play on. Thank you. And thank you very much, Denise. Wonderful. Very wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. And the next person on my randomizer is John Wesick, who I'm not sure. Oh, there he is. It's hard to find. There's so many people. It's hard to find. Hard to find you.
Yes.
Your turn.
So,
Always a good problem to have.
Yeah, so I had some surgery to cut a lump out of my neck, and it, went past some kind of delicate nerves. So I've got a little bit of numbness in my face, and that's kind of what this poem is about. My tumor recited poetry at open mics from Britain to Australia. Its tongue fluid as quicksilver, it would shout for emphasis or draw the audience in with a whisper. Although benign, the MRI showed it eyeing an AR-15. Better cut it out, the surgeon said. On its last feature, my tumor used the microphone once held by Carolyn Forche, Martine Espada, and Naomi Shihab Nye. Now my tumor sits in a test tube and my mouth is full of glaciers. Numbed lips struggle to wrap around words while somewhere in a hospital basement, after all the centrifuges have gone, still a clump of mutant cells sings. Thank you.
Thank you, John. And who do we have next? A few people next. Let's see. A few people next. What sense does that make? Let's go to our New York crowd. Let's welcome up Miss Patricia Kerrigan.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, one poem. What a great reading. Wow, awesome. Okay, one of my jazz poems, brand new one. Solitude, inspired by Billie Holiday. Solitude plays film noir, the haute couture wears despair like satin pumps. She is Marlene Dietrich, elegant black feathers cast a veil across her face. Solitude walks beside me, extends in sunlight, moves inward at night. She is like me, can survive without mutual support. She sits beside me, explains that not all firestorms are alike, that dark rainbows come in various shades of lies and abuse. Billie Holiday sings a silent prayer for you to return. The stillness of the room collides with the one within. A storm brews between the past and present. Am I going crazy, hearing voices hum as memories haunt the night? This room is not the same, and the gap between logic and absurdity makes this room smaller than it is. Thank you. I'm doing okay with the jab. I'm very tired, but I'm managing.
Oh, the booster shot. Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, it's now it's evening. I'm feeling like I'm trying to stay awake with coffee.
Well, keep heal yourself, most importantly, but it's great to have you on.
Yeah, thank you.
Up next, someone who is his own booster shot to any open mic. Let's welcome up Mr. Bill Lewis, who already knew I was talking about him and unmuted himself before I even finished my sentence.
Why, that is so kind of you, Chad. Did I ever tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you are making this work? Oh, hey, everybody, how many people think that Chad is just a cat's meow? I mean, he makes this work. We're messing around. We're missing our dates. We're not stapling our stuff together, but Chad keeps us calm. And do you know how much shit Chad gets from poets? Oh my God, I have friends who do what Chad does. You are my hero, Chad. You are a true pillar of nobility.
I needed a thumbs down emoji for myself. Okay, thank you, Bill. Go on.
As many of you know, I am part of the left. Or as I like to say, there is no left after we have left. We are as left as there is. We have people who are still screaming about Stalin. We must bring him back. I have been to so many protests and seen so little action after the protests. All these people who were screaming and yelling and chanting disappear, and I'm so frustrated. There's so little action. I was part of Occupy Boston 10 years ago. 10 years ago tomorrow. So tomorrow we are going to be at Faneuil Hall doing a little protest. Maybe it'll be a big protest, but I'm expecting 10 people personally. Anyway, but we did do some things. There are people who are not on the streets because we reached out our hands to our friends. I spent my time carrying water during the water crisis 5 years ago. Remember them, the bad people, the Republicans, everybody we hate? I felt it was part of my responsibility to talk to them. Because they're people, right? I mean, they don't born with horns on their heads. So I just got this. I thought that I wanted to read a little bit of it before. This is a missive from one of the very, very conservative groups that I have worked with. As you can see, it is about Haiti hit by massive quake. This is what the far right has to say about Haiti. Haiti needs our help and our prayers. The day after the earthquake struck, we loaded our DC-8 cargo plane with 31 tons of emergency supplies, including water filters, medical supplies, rolls of tarps to give people temporary shelter. We thank God that our flight was able to land in Haiti before the airport was closed due to the storm. These are the people that I worked with after the hurricane down in Florida. And I am proud to say that those are Americans. So maybe the people you think are your friends, well, anyway, how could I not love her? We worked, we sweated, we suffered together. Long hours under a hot sun, digging holes into the baked dirt, digging holes, clearing tansy, then filling the holes that we had just dug, filling them with apple and pear and peach and plum and hazelnut, half naked, dressed in sweat, covered in mud, smiling, proud, happy together. How could she not love me? I was the one who was there in her time of need. I was the one she cried to. I was the one she screamed out in anger. I was the one who stayed. To be together, to work together, to care together. All gone. No reason why, just anger and abuse. And trees. Dead trees, hundreds of dead trees. So many holes containing dead, dried sticks, all gone, not a word since. How could we not have been in love?
Thank you, Bill. I'm going to move on to our orator extraordinaire, as I like to call him, Mr. John Sturm. The man with the raised hand earlier. Oop, lost your video. Oh, there you go. You just need to unmute yourself. There you go.
Yeah. Emily Dickinson. I had a guinea golden, I lost it in the sand. And though the sum was simple and pounds were in the land, still had it such a value unto my frugal eye, that when I could not find it, I sat me down to sigh. I had a crimson robin who sang full many a day, but when the woods were painted, he too did fly away. Time brought me other robins, their ballads were the same. Still for my missing troubadour, I kept the house at hame. I had a star in heaven, one Pleiad was its name, and when I was not heeding, it wandered from the same. And though the skies are crowded and all the night a shine, I do not care about it, for none of them are mine. My story has a moral. I have a missing friend, Pleiad its name and robin, and guinea in the sand. And when this mournful ditty, accompanied with a tear, shall meet the eye of traitor in country far from here, grant that repentance solemn may seize upon his mind, and he no consolation beneath the sun may find. William Shakespeare, Hamlet. Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew, or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon against self-slaughter. Oh God, God, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fie on the time, fie. 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. That it should come to this, but 2 months dead, eh? Not so much, not 2. So excellent a king that was to this, Hyperion to a satyr, so loving to my mother that he might not beteem the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. Why, she would hang on him as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on, and yet within a month. Let me not think on it. Frailty, thy name is woman, a little month, or ere those shoes were old with which she followed my poor father's body, like Niobe, all tears. Why she, oh God, a beast that wants discourse of reason would have mourned longer, married with my uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules within a month, ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing in her galled eyes, she married. Oh, most wicked speed to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good, but break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
Thank you, John, for that little Hamlet passage to call things out, to close things out. Reminder to your friend, to everyone out there, call your mothers. Anyway, don't even know what that means. Anyway, I'm looking over the requests, and looks like we do have someone who is interested in reading. So by rigging the randomizer a little bit, I'm going to ask him to come up next. Someone who's new to the audience, Mr. William Peckelle. Are you able to unmute yourself, sir?
Yes, thank you. First, I just want to thank my sister Denise for, such an excellent presentation, and I'd like to thank you all for inviting her here.
My big brother. That's my big
sister.
brother.
Continuing in the vein of my sister, where she mentioned our mother and read a couple of poems about her, I would like to read a poem that I wrote about my grandmother, continuing the family tree down. So this is the poem I had written. A grandparent remembered. Growing up, we only had one living grandparent. We called her Grammy. My personal memories of my grandmother are the love she had for my father, her lovely smile, her authoritative voice, her beautiful hats and dresses. Red was her favorite color. I remember her face in the window as she watched us, playing games in the streets, whether winter, spring, summer, or fall. She was always there in her third floor window. Grammy also watched us at our family outings to Madison Park, Franklin Park, Revere Beach, and Fantastic Beach. I remember the honor given to me as her eldest grandson. It was running our errands to Al Green's store, to Blair's supermarket, or Cornfield's drugstore. I remember struggling up the 2 flights of stairs with her bags, lugging coal and wood for her stoves. I remember doing the chores around her house, cleaning the ashes from the stoves, cleaning the bathroom, sweeping the floors, taking out the trash, sweeping down her stairs. I did not mind the errands or the chores. It was well worth the nickel or dime I would earn. A lot of money for a 9-year-old in the late 50s. After all was done, I remember Grammy sending me for ice cream from the Dairy Queen at Dudley Station. I believe butter pecan was her favorite flavor. I was happy. I even got to have an ice cream for myself. But my best memory of all was my grandmother's television. She allowed us to watch it on Sundays and on special occasions. I will always remember my grandmother. And I thank her for preparing me to be the grandparent I am today. I wrote this in 2018.
Ooh.
Thank you for listening.
Beautiful, beautiful big brother.
Thank you so much, William. Thanks for being an audience member and a participant in tonight's open mic. Let's see who we have next. If there's anyone else who's feeling like they want to come out, please do so. Let's see who we have next. Let's do one of our phone callers. This is going to be Carol Weston, who's on a joint call. She's not on the computer per se. She's on a joint call by phone with one other participant. I'm going to unmute her. And She's been one of the people who've joined us since the very beginning of Stone Soup's online tenure. So let's bring up Carol.
Thank you. Well, for grades 1 and 2, I was in the public school, and I loved to stand anonymous in the huge line for defense stamps in World War II. When I came into the 3rd grade in the private school, I had no place to hide. I was standing tall with the best handwriting in the class. But Molly Richards, who came from England to escape the bombs of World War II, teased me so much I had to steal her hopscotch stone in my handwriting, and my handwriting went to the bottom of the class. In fact, at assembly, why did they take posture pictures of us nude, our little breasts trembling into existence, instead of giving us a reason to stand up and exult? In the end, I had to come out the inscrutable way. I crawled through a sewer pipe under Boston Harbor with the Cave Explorers Club and came out the way I am.
Thank you very much, Carol. And I'm going to keep we have 2 people on the phone line. I'm going to keep it unmuted for the second person who's joining us by phone only, because they don't have, again, these two don't have computers, but they were participants in Stone Soup when we were during our live days, so many millennia ago. And I wanted to participate now. Let's welcome up Laurel Lambert. Laurel? It looks like Laurel is not with us, so we're going to move over to the next person on the open mic. Let me just fix the mute. Okay, and now we're going to welcome up Mr. Ed Galt.
Muted. Okay, here I am.
There you are.
There I am. All right. I don't think I read this in a while. It's called Closing Time. My children came out and told me that you wouldn't take their money. You told them you were closing. I can appreciate that you want to go home. And we did come late. The streets were confusing and we got lost. The people that we asked for directions of said they didn't know. Also, they didn't seem to care. So here we are. We are leaving very early tomorrow morning, and it will be a long ride home. The children don't get to go on these vacations often. In fact, this is their first time out of the state. We waited until they were just the right age. We had to save a long time for this trip. So we just wanted them to see it. It wouldn't take very much time at all, and it would have meant so much for them to be able to say that they had seen this. It's not like we can come back another day. When I was their age, my own father brought me here. Your rangers told me the most wonderful stories. They made the history come alive in a way my own teachers never could. And my sister and I even got her picture taken in one of your colonial costumes. These memories are why we are bringing them now. So please, mister, won't you let them in just for a minute? They'll be right out, I promise. Just for a minute. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Galt. And up next on the open mic, if he's still here, missing a couple of people, but let's have Mr. Chris Fitzgerald come on if he is so inclined. Mr. Chris Fitzgerald, if you have unmuted, you're good to go.
This is called Central Square Monday nights. This is when Stone Soup was Central Square. First off, I would like to thank everyone who was involved in my Yellow Submarine sing-along last week. You were splendid. No, you were. Indeed, I had a hallelujah moment last Monday. As a few of you know, I've been trying to get a few works that I've read here published. But after last week's wonderful reception of my Beatles ditty, I will have to give serious consideration. I mean, if this poetry gig doesn't work out 4 or 5 months, to applying to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for the position of sing-along songmeister, county fairs, state parks. This land is your land, this song is your song, from California. Everyone get along, get along. Oh, sure, I might not know all the words to many of the major hit songs now, but give me a little time. I wouldn't be surprised to hear remarks similar to the Chris Christopherson response when he first heard Janis Joplin sing the song Chris had wrote, me and Bobby McGee. He said, that's her song now. Don't sit under the apple tree. That's his song. Do a diddy diddy dum. That's his song. If you like peanut, back to the poetry. I shall read 4 short poems. I'm not going to read them. By my favorite woman poet, say of the last 3,000 years. Viva Szymborska, a Polish woman I discovered maybe 30 years ago before she won a Nobel Prize for Literature. Not that more than a few shitheads have won that. I liked her getting the money. She had as sharp and scintillating as wit as Shaw, Twain, Flaubert. We're talking major belly laughs, brothers and sisters. She died 5 years ago at the age of 88. She was born in 1923, just outside Krakow, Poland, where she would spend most of her life. Poland from 45 to 89 was a commie pinko hangout. She was for 10 years or so a pinko commie. It didn't stick. She said her poems were about people and life. Her poetry was how she grabbed life by the throat. I think she was wonderful, full of wonder. And now this is a little short Shakespearean thing. Polonius, above all, to thine own self be true, my ass, Polonius. Above all, if you go creeping about spying for a 2-bit pretender, make sure you have a weapon on you to defend yourself. All you had to do was stop Hamlet's first thrust, and he would have recognized you before any more movement. Polonius was Ophelia and Laertes' father. Hamlet and the aforementioned 3 will all end up biting the big one because of Polonius's lack of a pithy saying about creeping about spying. Above all, stay away from shitty plays. Above all, be honest with the person across from you, and your creeping about days are over. And don't be surprised if you don't come up with new pithy sayings every other week. Above all, you got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, and don't fuck with Mr. In Between. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris. We heard that perfectly. And let's see who we have. We're getting close, slowly getting down the list. We've had a couple of people join us. We're going to do our best to include those as well. Thanks to everyone for staying on. And let's move on next to Mr. CCR Shagra.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I have a, well, I got stuff popping up. So I got a book coming out for like 2 years. I've been saying that, and it's called The Open Microphone. It's basically a republishing of the 3 books from 20 years ago. And I just interviewed David Amram and his son Adam, which was an amazing experience over at the National Beat Poetry Festival. And that was just an impromptu thing within a house full of talking people. And hopefully I could put that together. There's a lot of typing to do because there's so much talking. Anyway, For Jack Powers, I just want to say this is one of the first poems in one of my first books. It's called Lord of Nonsense. Lord of Nonsense, watcher over listening. Mortal remains choose pen over piano. The candelabra waxed wanes, burning ideas, illuminating stages, flicker in mind, light source attempts to voice human, face pain, breathe life into spirits, lifting wind to nets of poets' work, threading, basting, stitching, binding, weaving tapestries of dying, living. Little shout out to Jack there. And when poetry dies, it's one of my favorite pieces, and it's the poem that was shared to a Boston poetry professor, which gave me my very first day in a university, not as a student, but after never going to college, I taught a day of college thanks to Floyd Barber and a friend who read this poem to him, and it brought him to tears. It was over a sophomore poetry class over at Boston College. He was tenured professor. The only person he ever let into his class in 30 something years, 30, 40 years. When poetry dies, he is dead. He is done. The immeasurable distance between voice and the pages leaving sometimes seems impressive, maybe even lasting. Sometimes imposed upon by letters thought long ago lost and burned up by a looking glass. It's time for celebration. A day passing tears over the work of one life lived. Poets in pools of ink-minded hands came with flowers of human experiences. Some good, dead, and dry, some just fallen, cut, or stolen from the vine, some wild from a field looking oversexed, sick, and tired. At the gravesite, many were crying quotes from backhand whacking rulers of language in a cemetery once wild wood. I wandered away from this like-minded choking air. I caught myself thinking of them carved up into crutches to prop up the footbridge near a nameless headstone, plain as it was clear. And by the footbridge aging, I gathered from the bank of its brook a chunk of granite the size of my hand. I then wrote upon this faceless page 2 words in the simple handwriting style of a child. Love and roses, it now read. I then tossed the rock into the brook and listened to its song, giving birth to chilling birth, a running discovery up my spine, through my bones, and dazzling my scalp. I rose from this quake, then returned to the freshly bleeding mourners. Standing there were the most loyal, feeling alive, numb, empty ones. Nobody here was wearing a sure flesh image, voiced the mirrored granite headstone. Only the castings of their heated breathing spoke of any acting. I then asked the few still standing, whom, if any, truly loved him. Doubt seemed to answer in a run of dead silence, each face filled with embarrassingly honest fear and concern, of course, for the first who might speak. This dim sky and darkening twilight hour was moving. One woman knelt and opened a book by the deceased. The clouded offering of limited light strained her eyes to work off the page. She cleared her throat and filled her left hand with a fistful of soil, grass, and pebbles. The ritual of her releasing grip only hardened the silent feeling. Her actions rained a knocking on the coffin door as she waited hopelessly, as if the resident were away on a near-death visit and just came home to open it. She felt alone and down, to be a grounded living being without guide to spirit reaching, to bridge these realms by the new grave now. She scattered tears over the words left to her. Strange enough, the piece she read was entitled, I Am Still Here, and I Am Laughter. Thank you.
Love and roses.
Thank you so much, CC. And looks like we have before we get to the final open micers, the regulars, we do have a couple more people we do have a new person coming on the open mic. I'd like to welcome up someone who just requested a slot. Let's welcome up Reverend Andrea Payne.
Hello.
We can't see you. Oh, there you go.
There you are.
Thank you.
Oh.
Okay, here I am. All right, so I am a interfaith knowledge minister who started somebody around this planet to help heal it. And this is a prayer poem for that. We're putting a thick layer of prayer around this world, spreading it rich like jam on bread till we give birth to a new earth where divine love, unity, and light reign supreme. And our lives shine bright as sunbeams. Send the love, send the light. Yes, we're spreading a thick layer of prayer, rich like buttered bread, round this earth, till we give birth to peace and harmony, and we recognize the divinity in you and me. It's time, people, don't you see it? To evolve, to create the world of our choosing, and end this illusion of separation, because in truth, there is only one of us. And for that one, there is enough food, enough clothing, enough shelter, enough water, enough quality education, enough enlightened healthcare, enough love. Yes, there is enough for the one. Send the love, send the light. So we're putting a thick layer of prayer around this world till we give birth to a new earth where birds, bees, and fleas' needs are honored for the gifts they are. Yes, it's time, people. Don't you feel it? Oh, it's time, people. Don't you see it? To birth a new earth where all life forms are held sacred and life is a joyous expression of the one. We're spreading a thick layer of prayer around this world, rich like jam on bread, as we honor our beloved earth. We're putting a thick layer of prayer around this world, spreading it rich like buttered bread till we give birth to 1 billion people loving, healing, transforming earth. And may the Creator help us as we send the love, send the light. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.
Send the love, send the light.
Who do we have next? Yes, she thought we couldn't see her, but we see her very well now. It's Minion Ariel King. Minion, someone from the Mojo family had a great feature tonight. We're glad you're here to see it, to hear her, and to take part in the open mic. Whoops, you just got to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me? I didn't
Yes,
want to. I just came to hear Denise, who I apparently missed.
Did you want to read?
No, thanks.
Oh, okay,
I'm gonna sit in the dock and pout.
fair enough. Okay. We might tell people what they do on their free time. Okay, we have that's what I do on a Saturday. Let us move on to let's see if he is available. Mr. Jason Wright, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, excellent. If you want to talk about the event that's happening this Saturday, feel free to do so.
Yeah. Thanks, Chad. First of all, I want to thank you, Chad, for Chad's gonna be emceeing and hosting an event on this Saturday, the Michael Cherry Memorial 5K, in honor of my nephew who took his life 4 years ago. We're gonna be walking in memory of him, and we're gonna have a few speakers. We're gonna have the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention there, as well as people from This Is My Brave. It's gonna be a very fun event. It's at Grafton, Massachusetts, which is right next to Worcester. If you want to, any information, go to runsignup.com. And it's gonna be a great event. And I'm really happy that Chad is gonna be hosting the event and stepping up, and it's gonna be, and I really appreciate his support. So thank you, Chad. It's gonna be a great event. So I hope to see you there. It's this Saturday, and it kicks off at 10 o'clock in Grafton at the Grafton High School.
You gotta do a poem?
Oh yeah, sure. I wrote this one. Can you see? Here we go. I wrote this one in my dog's gonna bark when I do it because he does that. So here we go. I'm gonna read a poem from oddballmagazine.com. Chad, while I'm queuing it up, can you tell people what Oddball Magazine is in case they don't know?
Oddball Magazine is a part of the Oddball Foundation. It is it's now officially a nonprofit organization, which is the main force in organizing the Michael Cherry Memorial 5K, which is happening this Saturday. You can go to Oddball Magazine. There are links to the Oddball Foundation and to the memorial, especially in Jason's most recent Jagged Thought poem, which he does every Tuesday afternoon at 1 o'clock. And I'm sure one of us can put a link into the chat. I'll work on that right now. But Oddball Magazine also takes submissions from poets and artists from all around the world. So if you are interested in submitting, many of the people who are on this open mic are past contributors or even current contributors to the magazine. So give oddballmagazine.com a check out, and let's listen to Jason right now.
Thanks, Chad. This is about the event. It's Jagged Thought 391, October 2nd. It would be really great if you were in town to walk with us to honor and remember my nephew, Michael Cherry, who sadly took his life 4 years ago. And if you notice a friend struggling, you haven't seen them on Facebook, or they seem distant, talk to them. Remind them they are loved and they matter, and things will be all right. The walk is October 2nd at Grafton High School. It is a good distraction from the nightmare of losing a loved one to suicide. I will be there, and so will Chad. Thank you, my friend, and my family. The day will be nice, not a cloud in the sky. If you're with family tonight, hold them tight. If you have your loved one by your side, hold them close. And let them know they matter, they're loved, and things will be all right. Don't let this world take another life or yours. It's going to be all right. Even if you have to remind yourself that it will be all right, because it will. My hope is that it will be all right, especially for
Thank you, Jason. And we're going to go on now to our musical interlude. And the second to last person on our open mic, as far as I can tell. Let's welcome up. He knows who he is. Let's welcome up Mr. Ethan Meckler.
Thank you, Chad. Okay, this is called Before the Curfew by Oliver Wendell Holmes. alone beneath the darkened sky, with saddened heart and unstrung lyre, heap the spoils of years gone by and leave them with a long drawn sigh, like driftwood brands that glimmering lie before the ashes hide the fire. Let not these slow, declining days the rosy light of dawn outlast. Still around, lonely hearth it plays and gilds the east with borrowed rays, while memories mirrored sunset blaze flames on the windows of the past. Thank you. Back to you, Chad. You're muted, Chad.
Oh, I know. I kept on trying to put people in the center if they were on the phone or if they were, I couldn't see their video. So by moving my square, I permanently moved mine away where I couldn't see it. So I'm lost. But I am now found, and I can go to our closer, our penultimate closer on the open mic. It's going back to Oddball Magazine, and I did send a link for the memorial run. If there's anyone who can spend a few bucks, or you can even spend the time to spread the word around, it would be great. We're halfway to the goal of $5,000. I'm going to be posting it more between now and Friday, and it would be great to see this go to its completion. We have some amazing sponsors as part of this, and some amazing volunteers. So I'll be looking forward to that. I'll be making the trip to Grafton early to help start the festivities, to help start the walk, or the run, or the tread, or the or the empowered pedestrian motor thing. I totally forgot what that is now. Of course, the Segway. Yeah, even if you want to do a Segway, it's all optional. But Oddball Magazine is a literary magazine. That's what it started out as, and this person is one of the oldest, longest-running columnists for the online journal. His online poem column, It's All One Thing, airs or is published every Thursday morning without fail at 11 o'clock a.m. Check out oddballmagazine.com, and please consider submitting, especially if you're a visual artist. It would be great to have you. And now, without further ado, we're going to bring it over to Mr. James Van Looy to finish us up. And thanks to everyone for coming to see Denise read and coming to and staying for the open mic, and for contributing to the open mic. Very appreciative of new voices always. We do this every week for the near future, keeping it safe, especially for some of our more immunocompromised members. It'd be great to keep this going even when we do finally meet up again. But enough of that. Let's go over to James Van Looy.
Thanks, Chad. So I have a piece here. It's called History is Back, and it's a poem about the weekly demonstration that we have, and a sign that it's actually a picture of a child in Yemen. And so this poem is about that. History is back. Back before this last long millennium, somehow managed to go so 21st century to spawn our current age digital divide. The archaeologists found the ancient roots of the frankincense trade in Yemen, still apparent in the fragile desert ecology of the Arabian Peninsula facing out to the Gulf of Aden and the Red Sea. This place, this portal to Africa on the fault line of continents, where I now see great child's eyes in a famine face embedded in a gurney that stare at me over her spindly legs, painted fingernails on pencil arms gesture to me for help or what I can't know, even though I've been protesting, keeping vigil every week religiously with sign that says no war on Yemen. Still, my government sold the bombs, refueled the bombers, reinforced the blockade, supplied intelligence when there's nothing intelligent about any of it. And even though the president's changed, bombs still fall, the medieval siege continues. Those great child eyes stare at me from ancient land once called Sham. Oh, is she the many great granddaughter of the Queen of Sheba, of Solomon fame? And I have a little song to go with this. Takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long. Went down to the river to lay me down to sleep. I went down to the river to lay me down to sleep. I went down to the river to lay me down to sleep. I woke up and had shackles on my feet. I asked the judge what will be my fine. I asked the judge what will be my fine. I asked the judge what will be my fine. 20 more years on the Rocky Mountain line. The train I ride is 15 coaches long. 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 The girl I love is on that train and gone. The girl I love is on that train and gone. Oh, it takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long. Thank you.
Thank you very much, James Van Looy. And with that, we conclude our open mic and our fabulous Stone Soup. Thanks again to Denise Washington for an amazing feature. For those who missed any part of this feature tonight, do not worry, never worry. We are live streaming as we speak, and we are also publishing this onto YouTube. It'll be available on YouTube for viewing sometime between 8:30 and 9 o'clock tomorrow. And hopefully there'll be more announcements. We have 2 potential poets coming up in the next 2 weeks. Have yet to confirm, but hopefully I will have solidified features to announce in October. Catching up now that I'm on vacation, and it's going to be exciting in October. There should be an exciting call for submissions for Halloween and horror themed pieces. So if you have any of those, get them ready. And more stuff to be announced, and more new artists and writers to come to Oddball Magazine, and hopefully more new artists and writers to come on to here. Let's keep it going for our, as we get towards our 51st year. We just celebrated year 50 in May, and now we'll be doing year 50, heading towards year 51 on May 1st, 2022. God help me. Thank you guys very much. And thanks once again to Denise Washington. I'm going to look for that pop-up poetry t-shirt link. I'm going to share it to everyone. I have the Cash App information as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the rest of us, I think we are all, we're ready to go. It can be like this every week. All we need is you. Thank you all for sticking around. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for coming for Denise. Time to do the obligatory wave. William's got it going already. He didn't even need a prompt from me. He's never been here before. Why aren't the rest of you keeping up? So that's more like it. And pause, because the shaky hand is very weird. Okay. There we go. Thank you, guys. Hi, Jan. Thank you guys very much, and look forward to seeing you coming back next week. Thanks again, once again, to Denise. And like I said, it can be like this every week. All we need is you. Take care. Have a good night. Take care of
Thanks,
yourselves.
Denise.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
Chad. Thanks, Open Mics, and
See
thanks,
you, everyone.
Stacy.
Hi, Mary. Hi, John.
Catch me on
Thank
catch-
you.
catch me on
Thank
social
you,
media.
everybody.
Fisher,
Thank you, Denise. Hi,
Chad,
Patricia. Hi,
and everyone.
Carol. It's always good to see you, everybody,
Ellie.
and all you new
Stay
faces.
stay
Thank you.
safe,
Bye.
everybody.
See you at the
You
5K,
too.
hopefully on Saturday.
See y'all
Good night.
later.
Mignon, it's good to see you.